You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Look at this from Jemele Hill. And I believe you had already covered this. Michele Tafoya said that her kid, one of their best friends was black. And they go to school and then they make them associate with their own race. And now the kid doesn't associate with this black kid anymore. Then Jemele Hill, who's racist, imagine leaving a high-profile job over a made-up issue. Does Michele Tafoya even know what CRT is? Does she have kids in school being taught CRT? Can she provide any examples? See, this is the leftist playbook right here. Because, like in Texas, it's illegal to teach CRT. But what they do is they try to go around, and if you have they try to implement it into math, you know? For example, they'll use, all right, 2 minus 2 is 0, right? So let's take, for example, you have 2 black kids, and then you have 2 black kids that were killed by white people because they're racist. How many black kids do you have left? You have 0 black kids because the white kids killed them, or the white people killed them. That's the way they do it. And they want to call it, it ain't CRT. That's the kind of stuff that they've been doing out there. But it gets worse. Go ahead.
If I'm being honest with you, and having a child that's in elementary school right now in rural East Texas, if I'm being honest, I think CRT is being taught in every school right now across the country. I truly believe that in some way, form, or fashion, those nuggets are being dropped in classrooms all over the country right now.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe it. I truly believe it, because a lot of these teachers now are liberals. They just are.
Yeah, they are.
They are. I mean, and they're all over the place, regardless of where you're from. That influence is in your school right now. It worries me as a parent. It worries me anyway, but she gave examples when she was on Gutfeld the other night. She gave examples, or maybe it was Tucker. When she was on with Tucker, she talked about the things that her kid's school was doing. Like purposely, they created these classes to separate out children based on race. These specific classes to separate them out based on race. What she was saying was simply, look, why are we going back into segregation? Why is this a thing? Why is my kids being subjected to any situation where they can't still hang out with their black friends? Why are you putting in that? My kid's not allowed to go into this class with his friend. He can't go in there. Yeah, she was disgusted by that. I am too.
Yeah, that sounds like something straight out of Jim Crow.
That's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy is what it is.
You remember woke LZ Granderson, right?
Oh, yeah.
The twisted path that led Michele Tafoya from covering the NFL to denying systemic racism.
All right.
Bro, check this out. Recently retired NFL sideline reporter, this is from him, swung by Tucker Carlson's show this week to talk about why she felt compelled to leave her high-profile sports media job and get involved into politics. Now, I can guarantee you, Rhodes, if she was actually out there getting into leftist politics, they wouldn't say nothing about her. They wouldn't. This article would not be written.
Brave, stunning, and courageous right now.
Yeah. But it goes on to support her appearance. Fox News posted this quote from Tafoya on social media. Quote, "It breaks my heart that my kids are being taught that skin color matters," close quote. And he goes on, a pretty rich statement coming from Tafoya for multiple reasons. First, she reportedly lives in Edina, Minnesota, a suburb of Minneapolis that was founded and populated by black people in the 1890s until they were systemically driven out by racial covenants embedded in property deeds. The covenant stated that property could only be sold to white people. Rhodes. This dude went back to the 1890s. Was Michele Tafoya anywhere around in the 1890s?
No, none of us were.
None of us were. And you already know which party was trying to drive out the black people. You already know that party, right?
Let me help us out.
Pretty much, man. Pretty much. But he goes all the way back to the 1890s. Then here in 1948, the Supreme Court ruled that courts could not enforce the covenants, but residents could adhere to them if they wanted to. Adena, which reportedly had nearly 3,000 residential properties with racial covenants in their deeds, as described as last fall, is roughly 85% white. And Tafoya says her heart breaks because, quote, my kids are being taught that skin color matters. Well, the joke pretty much writes itself. 1948. Michele Tafoya, ladies and gentlemen, she's 56 years old. Okay.
She wasn't alive then either, by the way.
Guess what, Rhodes? Guess what? Check this out, man. I'm from Beaumont, Texas, man. Guess what athlete grew up on a street down the road I grew up in? Probably the greatest athlete of all time. Babe Zaharias grew up a block away from where I grew up in Beaumont, Texas. And guess what? That was the white part of the neighborhood I lived in. Guess what happened to the white people? There's no white people there now.
Oh.
There's no white people in that neighborhood.
Oh.
So what would LZ Granderson have to say about that? Were white people pushed out?
Look, this is more mental gymnastics. This guy literally started referencing the 1890s and 1948 to try to build a case against Michele Tafoya.
And this doesn't make any sense. He's going after a hometown.
Going after her hometown.
A town built on racism is where Tafoya calls home. A league famous for its racism has been her beat for years. Well, a league that used to be all white, but now is 70% black, but is racist against black people? Somebody explain this to me like I'm a 2-year-old, man.
A league that, by the way, is still being called racist, even though it's created more generational, wealthy black men than any other profession in the United States. Generational wealth, by the way. We're not talking about guys that some of these guys made $300,000. No, Patrick Mahomes has a deal that's how big?
Man, 400 million or something.
$450 million over 10 years.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.